If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, can rapport hurt your sales process, and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Silverman. Welcome to Life for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and business. Fantastic day to talk about you. All right. So if you are in sales, you will hear you have to build rapport. You have to build rapport. And I'm going to say yes, and there's a time and place for it. All right. If I come to you and say you have to build rapport and nobody has ever laid down what time frames to do it, where to block it out, what the X's and the O's of this are, you're going to go to crazy town. You're going to build rapport and you're going to miss deals. Okay. So what I did was I grabbed my $15 whiteboard. With inflation, I think it's 18 now. And I broke down 1 hour, right? You could take your sales process and just break it into quarters, okay? Or break it into eighths if it's 2 hours. And what you want to do is you want to take a look and you're like, okay, what am I doing in the first 15 minutes? In the first 15 minutes of most sales presentations, it's all about, oh, you like SpaghettiOs? I like SpaghettiOs. Oh, you like chocolate? I like chocolate. Oh, you like the football team? I like the football team. Oh, you like... Look, listen, here's what happens is that zigzag back and forth kind of like takes you all over the map and takes you off of your process and takes you off of what you really need to do. And so here's what I highly encourage you to do. If you want to really test this out, because you don't have to do it, go into your first quarter, of your sales process and listen, take notes, ask a lot of questions. Listen, take notes, and ask a lot of questions. What got us out here? Why are we here today? Why are we talking? What's going on? Tell me about the problem. How does that impact you? And then you're going to use the normal conversations. Oh, well, that's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me ask you a few more questions. You're going to use the Socratic method of asking questions. You're going to do your rapport process, but realize, if you go in and you're like, hey, I got to be just like this person, you are going to talk about yourself more than the buyer is going to have a chance to talk about them. Okay. So if you ever watch a rescue of somebody like on a ski slope or a tow truck get somebody out of the middle of nowhere, you don't hear the rescuer go, hey, I want to tell you about myself. I drive and fly helicopters. No, they let the person talk. They let the person who's stranded, got issues, got problems, just, hey, like, thank you so much. I was freezing. Oh, I've been freezing too. You see how crazy that sounds? Like, no, you let that person just like, whoa, let me get all these things out of my system. Now, here's the thing. If you want to be better at sales, you want to be good at what you do, you should absolutely join my email publication. Just go to this URL, type it into a browser, drop in your name, your email address, maybe your phone number. I'll give you the goods. Not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. Now, you're like, Scott, you told me I can build rapport. Yes. Heck yes, I think you should. Okay. But that comes like, if you use this mathematical equation for an hour, that comes in quarter number 2. And you're like, hey, Scott, where did you get this from? Where are you basing this off of? And so there is an author named Harvey Mackay, and Harvey Mackay wrote a book about swimming with the sharks and not eating it alive. And in that book, Harvey Mackay introduces the Harvey Mackay 66. And his print salespeople could not and were not allowed to start the sales process until they had 66 questions answered about their prospect. And when I first took a look at that, I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, what would that do? If I took a look at my sales process and I said, what would it be like if I just spent the first 12 and a half to 15 minutes talking to the person about themselves? Tell me about yourself. Tell me what's going on. Tell me how that works. Okay. Now, this was confirmed through my coach and my mentor, Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham was in Australia and met a man and just kept asking the guy questions and tell me about how this works and tell me about how did you get that? How did you meet these people and what's going on? And the guy stopped him at the end of the evening and said, you are the most interesting man I've ever met in my life. And I went, whoa, wait a minute. There is power and magnitude to questions. And then there's also loss of power. If it's true, you can bother people, you could create problems, you can create issues. This does take some work. This does take some effort. Like, for real, think this through and have real conversations with people. You can't be a robot and be like, well, Scott told me that I have to keep asking questions. Like, you have to make sure that it maintains the normal adequacy of a conversation. It does take some work. It does take some effort. Now, if you're struggling today, if you're like, hey, I'm in the middle of a sales slump, here's the thing that I would ask you to retool, because in the middle of a sales slump, it is vitally important for you to not talk about yourself. Here's what happens. Salespeople who are struggling tend to treat their sales calls as therapy. You don't need to do that. Please don't. Right? And if you're going to do that in rapport, you are going to talk about yourself 75 to 80%. You're going to have the prospect talk to you about 20. And I'm going to tell you how that sales call is going to go. They're going to tell you, I got to call you back. Right? Be aware that rapport can hurt you. You got one of three things to do from here. Just one of three. Find the subscribe button. Click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.